Hey there, my name is Anton and I love world building. One of my favorite activities is to create worlds and imagine the stories that are taking place there. My favorite step in that process is creating a magic system, as I love to create systems that align with the themes of the stories I'm making. And when I'm consuming media, that's kind of what I look for. So I'm making this little celebratory thing just as a way of congratulating Jake for the progress he's made on this massive project and getting Act 1 out. I'm so happy to be a part of this community and hope that everyone enjoys this little thematic analysis on Scrabdackle's magic system and how it works with the story. There's a lot of speculation here, just because, I'm working with an incomplete data set, but this is more for fun than anything else, and I hope you enjoy listening to it. Magic is a part of the natural world of Scrabdackle. It is literally everywhere. The most obvious example of this is the sheer amount of places of power. They're incredibly common and are literally shaped by the world around them, being made of an assortment of random objects that would be commonly found in that environment. Magic doesn't only accumulate, however, it is a part of the region's ecosystem. Dust motes, crinkles, nimbies are all made from inanimate objects brought to sentience by magic's passive influence. These creatures aren't unnatural to the areas they are found in, but are a part of the overall ecosystem, just as any other animal. Magic in Scrabdackle doesn't exist outside of the natural world. It isn't something imposed on it, but is just as much a part of it as the sun or wind. It is important to understand that magic is inherent to the world, because it's an integral part of Blue's journey. Blue starts the game with very little knowledge of the world and of magic. While they are a wizard, and it is their second year in the academy, their notebook is still quite empty, with them only knowing 3 very basic spells. As they journey across Scrabdackle, not only does their knowledge of the world increase, but they also become a more powerful wizard. One could argue that these two things aren't related, as it is not Blue's understanding of the world that is making them more powerful, but it is them picking up new spells and equipment along the way. That is a perspective taken by wizards. Wizards don't really see magic as part of the natural world, but as something that exists beyond it, as something that needs to be studied, researched, and ultimately harnessed. This is demonstrated by the fact that the main hub of wizard society literally lives in an academy, in a constant state of learning and studying magic. They don't just live in the academy, however. They have isolated themselves from the rest of the world. This is obvious by the fact that Blue, when exploring Scrabdackle, is shocked by the changes that have happened. The militarization of the Ducklands, the destruction of Peanut Village. Blue is aware of these two factions. However, he is not aware of the recent changes that have been taking place with them. The wizards of the academy have chosen to isolate themselves from the broader world. This theme of isolation carries on in their magic and how they have chosen to engage with it. When studying magic, they have literally stratified it by separating it into 3 different strata that make up magic. It is shown that wizards learn how to cast through learning specific spells. However, this isn't the only way of casting magic. As shown by characters like Gaul and Dark Wizard, there does exist a more free-form way of casting magic that isn't limited by using specific spells, but is instead a more flexible and organic approach to magic casting. However, that is not how wizards have chosen to engage with magic. Instead, they have compartmentalized it into specific spells, each spell as something new to learn. The goal of these studies and their view of magic is ultimately to find ways of harnessing it. The best example of this is the condenser, which allows wizards to cast magic without tapping into their own natural energy reserves. This is another way that wizards have managed to isolate themselves from the world. While condensers make magic a lot easier to cast, as it harvests the passive magic around a person, it also means that the wizard has isolated themselves from the magic they are casting, as it is no longer their magic, but magic from a different source. This isn't the only instance of them altering magic to be less connected to the natural world. Most places of power are made up of objects that exist in the environment they were formed in, random sticks, leaves, stones, that have all accumulated over time. In contrast, the places of powers near wizards have been made immaculate, with 12 identical pegs all placed in a perfect circle. Instead of being made up by the environment they inhabit, they have been changed to stand apart from it. In the demo, the 2 places of power with these modifications have been further altered in allowing for teleportation. These changes alter the relationship places of power have with the world, making it something that allows wizards to completely avoid interacting with it through that teleportation. Instead of the place of power being a part of the natural world, it has become a way for entirely avoiding it. This can, funnily enough, even be seen with how wizards have chosen to landscape. Wizards and ducks are really the only 2 factions that have been shown to garden. However, there is a deep contrast in how they have chosen to do so. While duck gardens are certainly well maintained, they have made an effort to incorporate their native ecosystem into their gardening, which has made the transition between wild and managed spaces almost seamless. Then look at the wizard garden. They have changed their green spaces into a hedge maze, removing it from its natural state and forcing it into an unnatural pattern. It also serves as a way of reinforcing its isolation with the rest of the world, as it's literally another barrier of entry. The apex of this perspective has to be the artificer. They have not only isolated themselves from the world, but from general wizard society. They are working on fully automating magic, using their understanding of magic to create robots, turrets, machines that can use magic without external input. This tech has come with a huge environmental and social impacts for the lands around Manufactory, as it has generated dark clouds that has caused the lands to wither away and become actively hostile to the peanuts that once lived there, forcing them to migrate. Yet Artie pays no mind to what is happening outside of their walls, instead focusing only on perfecting their tech, even as a chasm literally threatens to swallow up their life's work. While their work may seem extreme now, it is the natural endpoint of the philosophies wizards abide by. Unlike the tech produced by Artie, condensers, places of power modifications, the nexus of powers are not inherently evil. They could even be good. Condensers could make magic more accessible to non-magical beings. Nexuses of power and teleportation that it provides could allow for fast and safe transportation to connect people from all over the world that would never have been able to interact. These technologies could improve the lives and connect the people of Scrabdackle. However, the way the wizards have used them, gatekeeping the knowledge of condensers, of teleportation, and magic as a whole from the other factions, is more in line with Artie's goals and perspectives for developing and understanding magic just for the sake of developing it, progress for the sake of progress. It shows that over time, the same ideas that have led to the development of these tools that have allowed wizards to isolate themselves from the world will also lead to them developing magic similar to Artie's technology. Magic which is fully automated for convenience, that has been stripped from the natural world in order to serve. Damned be those who are outside the academy walls, choking on its dark clouds. In the journey to understand magic, they will strip it away from the very world it's a part of. Blue starts out with the wizard's perspective of magic, as that is where they grew up, and so for them, magic is something to be studied, something a part of the wider world. However, as they travel around the world of Scrabdackle, connecting with its people, they will learn new magic, not from textbooks, but from their experiences and discoveries. As magic has never existed apart from the world, it has always been a part of it. It is these magics that will allow Blue to face those who see magic as nothing more than a means to an end. Those people who are willing to stomp over anyone and anything to achieve their goals. As they truly care about the world, the people, and the magic they are protecting.